Imagine this for a moment. Everything you've ever known, every planet, every star, every galaxy, might not exist in the open universe at all. Instead, we could all be trapped inside the most terrifying object in the cosmos, a black hole. It sounds like pure science fiction, the kind of idea you'd expect from a movie. But one of the greatest scientific minds in history, Stephen Hawking, actually considered this possibility. And if his controversial theory is right, then reality is nothing like what we think it is. Stephen Hawking wasn't just a physicist, he was a rule breaker. His mind pushed beyond the safe boundaries of accepted science and into the unknown. While most researchers studied black holes as strange, distant monsters floating somewhere out in space, Hawking dared to ask a much bigger and far scarier question. What if our entire universe is itself a black hole? To see why this idea is so shocking, let's step back and look at what black holes really are. They're born when massive stars die. After a star burns through its fuel, gravity takes over and crushes it inward with such unimaginable force that space and time themselves warp around it. At the very center, you get a singularity, an infinitely dense point where the known laws of physics break down completely. And surrounding that singularity is the event horizon, a one-way boundary. Once you cross it, there's no return. Not even light can escape. For decades, black holes were seen as just strange objects out there in the darkness. But Hawking thought differently. He believed they were more than cosmic trash compactors. He believed they might hold the very secret to understanding the universe itself. Because when you think about it, the beginning of our universe, the Big Bang, looks eerily similar to the birth of a black hole. The Big Bang started with a single, infinitely dense point, and from that point the universe expanded outward. Doesn't that sound like what happens inside a black hole? A singularity, surrounded by a horizon, where time and space are trapped in strange, unfamiliar ways. What if what we're calling the universe is just the inside of one enormous black hole? A black hole not in our cosmos, but in some greater reality beyond what we can see. This is where Hawking's idea flips everything upside down. Because if he was right, then black holes aren't just things inside the universe. The universe itself could be one giant black hole. And that leaves us with a haunting question. If we are inside, then what lies outside? Is it another universe, another dimension, or maybe an endless chain of universes, each one born from the black holes of another? Hawking's mind was fearless, but it wasn't easy for him to push these ideas forward. Remember, this was a man who lost almost all physical control of his body to ALS, who lived trapped in a wheelchair, communicating through a computer. And yet, while his body weakened, his mind only grew stronger. He never stopped chasing the biggest, strangest questions. Even when other scientists dismissed his ideas as too wild, too unprovable, Hawking thrived on the controversy. He once said, "The greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance, it is the illusion of knowledge." Maybe that's why he dared to suggest that everything we believe about reality could be wrong. There's a strange logic behind his theory. Inside black holes, time slows down, almost freezing for anyone watching from the outside. But for someone inside, time feels normal, even though space itself is warped. Now compare that to our universe. We see galaxies rushing away from us, the expansion of space accelerating faster and faster. Scientists call this mysterious force dark energy. But what if it's not energy at all? What if it's just what happens naturally inside a black hole? Maybe the expansion of the universe is nothing more than the warped geometry of a cosmic prison we cannot escape. Of course, not everyone agreed with Hawking. Some physicists said it was just speculation, an untestable idea. After all, how could we ever prove it? We can't step outside the universe to check whether it's a black hole because there's no outside for us to reach. Others argued that the Big Bang doesn't perfectly match black hole physics. It's similar, yes, but not identical. Still, the beauty of Hawking's thought was not in its certainty, but in its boldness. Even if the theory can't be proven, it forces us to confront just how little we know. And it sparks new questions that may never leave us. Could every black hole in our sky contain another universe of its own? If so, Does that mean new realities are being born every second, each one hidden behind an event horizon? If our universe is itself a black hole, are we the product of a bigger cosmos that we'll never see? The questions spiral endlessly outward, just as our universe expands endlessly into the dark. Stephen Hawking's life was a story of refusing to accept limits. He transformed our understanding of black holes with his groundbreaking discovery that they aren't truly black at all, that they leak energy, something we now call Hawking radiation. That idea alone revolutionized physics, but his willingness to go even further, to suggest that the universe itself might be a black hole, is what makes him unforgettable. He wasn't afraid to challenge the stage on which all of reality plays out. So are we living inside a black hole? No one knows. Maybe our universe is just one bubble in a vast sea of universes. Maybe it was born inside a black hole in some other reality, and maybe the black holes we see in our own universe are gateways to new ones, giving birth to fresh cosmic stories. Hawking left us with more questions than answers, but maybe that was the point. The universe, he reminded us, is far stranger and more mysterious than we can ever imagine. And maybe the true gift of his work is not a neat explanation, but the curiosity to keep searching. And so we're left with one final, unsettling thought. If we really are inside a black hole, then somewhere beyond the horizon something, or someone, might be watching.